Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce myself. I am Johan Liebert, and I'm here to talk to you today about the art of indirect influence. Many of you may know me as a genius, a prodigy, or even a monster. But what you may not realize is that my true power lies not in my physical abilities or my intelligence, but in my ability to influence others. You see, I have always been fascinated by the power of suggestion. The idea that one person can plant an idea in another person's mind and watch as it grows and takes root is endlessly fascinating to me, and I have spent my entire life perfecting this art. The first thing you must understand about indirect influence is that it is a subtle art. It is not about demanding or commanding others to do your bidding. No, that would be far too crude and obvious. Instead, it is about subtly guiding others towards the outcome that you desire. The key to indirect influence is to understand the desires and motivations of the person you are trying to influence. You must learn to read their thoughts, to anticipate their actions, and to play upon their emotions. And once you have learned to do this, you can begin to shape their decisions and their actions in subtle but powerful ways. For example, let's say you want to convince someone to do something that they might otherwise be hesitant to do. You might start by planting a seed of doubt in their mind. You might suggest that their current course of action is flawed or incomplete, and that there is a better way. You might then offer yourself up as a solution to their problem, presenting yourself as the expert or the authority. Of course, you must be careful not to be too overt in your suggestions. You must always leave room for plausible deniability so that the person you are influencing never realizes that they are being manipulated. Another important aspect of indirect influence is the use of social proof. People are much more likely to be influenced by others who they perceive as being similar to themselves. So if you can find a way to present yourself as part of the same social group or circle as the person you are trying to influence, you will be much more successful in your efforts. For instance, if you are trying to convince someone to invest in a particular business venture, you might highlight the fact that other people in their social circle have already invested. This will create a sense of social proof and make it more likely that they will follow suit. But perhaps the most important aspect of indirect influence is the use of emotion. People are much more likely to be influenced by their emotions than by their rational thoughts. So if you can find a way to tap into someone's emotions, you will be much more successful in your efforts. For example, if you are trying to convince someone to support a particular political candidate, you might appeal to their sense of patriotism or their desire for a better future. By tapping into their emotions, you will be much more likely to sway their opinion. Of course, indirect influence is not always easy. It requires a deep understanding of human psychology, as well as a great deal of patience and practice. But for those who are willing to put in the effort, the rewards can be immense. You see, the ability to influence others is one of the most powerful tools in the world. With it, you can shape the course of history, create new opportunities, and achieve your goals. But at the same time, it is also a great responsibility. With great power comes great responsibility, and it is up to each and every one of us to use our power wisely and ethically. In this vast tapestry of human existence, there exists an art seldom appreciated, yet intricately woven into the fabric of power and control, the art of indirect influence. It is a dance of subtlety, a symphony of whispers that resonate far louder than the most thunderous declarations. I find myself drawn to the shadows, where the puppeteer's strings are pulled with a delicate touch, and the marionettes dance to a tune unheard by the masses. Indirect influence is an art mastered by the patient, the cunning, those who understand that true power lies not in the overt display of strength, but in the manipulation of perception. Take a moment to observe the grand chessboard of life, and you'll realize that the pawns, the kings, and the queens are mere players in a game where the true genius lies in the ability to shape outcomes without ever revealing one's hand. I've always found amusement in the simplicity of direct confrontation, It's a brutish display of force, lacking finesse, and ultimately it reveals the limits of one's understanding. The true maestro, however, orchestrates the movements of the pieces without ever stepping into the limelight. It's the art of the unseen hand, guiding events like a phantom conductor, leading a spectral orchestra. Consider the power of suggestion, the subtle planting of seeds that blossom into thoughts and actions. To manipulate the mind is to hold the keys to the kingdom. A well-timed whisper, a carefully crafted rumor, these are the tools of the indirect influencer. The mind is a fertile ground, ready to nurture the seeds of doubt, desire, and deceit. All it takes is a gentle push, and the rest unfolds naturally, as if by the hand of destiny. The art of indirect influence thrives in the realm of ambiguity. A skilled practitioner understands that shadows are not places of concealment, but canvases upon which narratives are painted. To cast doubt upon the certainties of others is to sow the seeds of vulnerability. It is to make them question the very foundations of their beliefs, leaving them adrift in a sea of uncertainty. I find satisfaction in observing the ripples of influence as they cascade through the currents of society. A carefully placed word here, a strategically chosen ally there, each action a stroke on the canvas of destiny. The beauty of it lies in the illusion of free will, for those under the sway of indirect influence believe themselves to be architects of their fate, blissfully unaware of the unseen hands that guide them. But one must tread cautiously on this path, for the art of indirect influence is a double-edged sword. Just as one can shape destinies, so too can destinies shape the influencer. The delicate dance requires an understanding of the interconnectedness of all things, an awareness that every action sets in motion a chain of reactions, a ripple effect that can alter the course of rivers and reshape the landscape of power. In the end, the true master of indirect influence is not driven by a lust for dominion, but by a profound understanding of the human psyche. It is a dance with the shadows, a manipulation of the unseen currents that govern the ebb and flow of society. As I navigate this intricate dance, I relish the artistry of subtlety, the elegance of influence that transcends the boundaries of direct confrontation. So let the world revel in the spectacle of overt power, the clash of titans in the arena of the obvious. Meanwhile, I shall continue my dance in the shadows, orchestrating the movements of the pieces with a finesse that only the connoisseurs of indirect influence can truly appreciate. For in the art of subtlety lies the true mastery of the game, where the puppeteer remains unseen, and the puppet dances to a melody composed in the silence of the shadows. So, the next time you find yourself trying to influence someone, remember these principles. Be subtle, understand their desires, use social proof, and tap into their emotions. And above all, always use your power responsibly. Because in the end, the art of indirect influence is not just a tool for personal gain. It is a tool for creating a better world for all of us. And with that, I leave you to ponder the power of suggestion and the art of indirect influence. Thank you.